joined in the meantime. So yeah, cool. Okay.
Did you guys receive the recording notification?
Yes.
Okay, just to confirm. Go ahead, Edmond.
Cool. So well, this time we have new guys on the call. We have Lin Miatko from Myanmar, Emmanuel from Kenya, and Edgar. I don't remember your country. Can you tell us again your country, Edgar?
Tanzania.
You're from Tanzania. Okay, cool.
Yep.
And then, well, the two guests who I don't know exactly who you are, guys, but well, I would say that we can start by introducing ourselves. So I will start. I've already presented myself to pretty much all of you, but just to go through it again. My name is Edmund. You can call me Ed, and I've worked for about 13 years, primarily as a front-end web developer. Since 2 months ago, and since 2 months ago, I'm basically full-time on the mentoring group. Yeah, I would stop here. Going like from right to left from the first row, because the arrangement is a bit different here on Pyrian. Valmir, if you could also introduce yourself.
Yes, for sure. So, hi guys, my name is Valmir. I am from Brazil. I'm living in the Netherlands for 6 months, more or less. I was living in Norway before when I was working for Pyrian. And yeah, I'm a software engineer. I work specifically with quality assurance, but I do full stack development on side projects, and I work with IT since 2004. And I do mentoring apart from the Mentors Without Borders, as well as a service that I provide to my clients.
Cool. Thank you very much. Lin Miatko.
Yeah. I'm Lineko from Myanmar. You can call me Light. I've been working as a developer for 3 years as a full stack developer. Yeah. I'm specialized in JavaScript. Yeah. Nice to meet you all.
Cool. Thank you. Yeah. Then we have a guest from the first row, third column. If you could also tell us a bit about yourself. Okay, I'm not sure if you can hear me, but well, Kawe, if you can proceed.
Yeah, first off, maybe people had microphone muted. You can press M and then M again to unmute the microphone. So this is really helpful. And I suck at presentations, so I don't know. I live in Portugal, come from Brazil, started programming with MSX in 80-something. And yeah, loving to be here.
Cool, thank you. Emmanuel?
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm Emmanuel from Kenya, and I'd like to join you in studying programming, especially making softwares and website design.
Cool, thank you. Emmanuel, your mentor will be Dario. Dario, I'm not sure if you're able to join, but okay, yeah, so we have Dario as well. Cool. Yeah, so Emmanuel, Dario, Dario will be your mentor, basically, Emmanuel. And Edgar?
Hi there. My name is Edgar Mlowe. Can you hear me?
Yep.
I'm from Tanzania, Dar es Salaam. I've been working for almost 3 years, actually studying and working on software development. I have experience in JavaScript, PHP, Ruby, and their respective frameworks such as Ruby on Rails and Laravel. And in JavaScript, I've been working on React.js and Angular 2. I am also a consultant. Currently, I'm working for the World Bank Tanzania as a consultant. In my free time, I like to mentor people, teaching other people programming. I've been teaching 2 guys from Tanzania here, and I'm happy to join the mentors. Mentors Without Borders. Thanks to Edmond, I got another one student from Rwanda, so I'm currently teaching that student. Thank you. That was a lot, but this is Edgar Mlowe.
Cool. Thank you very much. No worries. Okay, Dario, I don't know if you are comfortable speaking. I saw that you wrote an introduction in the text chat. If you can or want to say something, feel free. If not, I would say that we can start. And so I would start by saying that in the last month or so, I have basically continued with the strategy that I had presented in our previous monthly meeting, which was to talk with the programmers from a number of countries, well, primarily from Africa and Asia. And well, I've talked with quite a few actually. And well, there were the holidays in the middle, but the programmers that I have, yeah, that's true, Kawi. The programmers that I have talked to, many of them have started this first month of training because, well, just as a reminder, you know what the exact strategy was. So the idea going forward is to, for each mentor, instead of teaching only programming, for 1 month, they can also teach the relaxation method and the mental process goal steps that is presented in the blog post that I think I have sent to all of you guys. And yeah, after each mentor gets used to using this method for about a month, they can teach it whenever each mentor feels comfortable enough. They can teach it in local branches of very large multinational humanitarian organizations like SOS Children's Villages, Save the Children, BRAC, Amnesty International, Mercy Corps, and you know, I have a list, a big list of these organizations from NGO Advisor, and it's quite easy to find the ones which are present in various countries. So yeah, like I said, you know, quite a few programmers have already started this training. A few have already completed it, and Lin Miatko is well, Light is one of them. And we well, there are 7 others actually who haven't joined this call, but hopefully they will be on the next monthly meeting. And yeah, the strategy going forward will be this, basically to do local mentoring in these branches of these very large organizations, and hopefully get to the point where you know, by implementing this model that we are currently implementing remotely, by implementing it locally, we should be able to get to the point where we can convince the management of these organizations to implement the model worldwide. So this would be the plan. And I think we have a pretty good chance of doing this, because I saw this kind of strategy working in the startup that I have worked for until 2 months ago. So yeah, by going to a few branches, if we can prove that this model is working, we should be able to convince the management of well, at least some of these organizations. And yeah, this would be the idea, the strategy. And what I would like next is well, for you, Light, who have completed this first month, because this is the first time that we get to talk. After that this first month, we have also scheduled a call for Tuesday. But just as a first impression, after this month of training, did you find it useful for yourself first of all, and then is it something that you think would be easy to teach the students in these organizations? Light, it was a question for you. Yeah, so I was referring to you because you are the first, the only one in this group on this conversation who, programmer, a professional programmer who has gone through this training, because your strategy for the other programmer mentors was for them to only teach programming remotely. But moving forward, the new strategy will be this for each mentor who teaches locally to also teach these two things for 1 month: the relaxation method and the mentor process. And what I was asking you was what is your first impression after this month of training with Van that you've done? If it's something that you think would be useful, for yourself and for the students.
Yeah, sure. The realization method and visualization methods will be very useful because it encourages the will of the students. I think they will have encouragement by doing that, and they will believe in themselves more. Yeah.
Cool. Okay, thank you very much. And I was going to ask you this in our meeting from Tuesday, but this happened to be before our meeting from Tuesday. So now that you're here, because this will be the strategy going forward. This was also my curiosity, right? How you found what your first impression was. Cool. So here, Emmanuel also went through the same training with a trainer from Kenya, and he will start the mentoring program with Dario, as I was saying previously. And with Emmanuel, I've also talked about because he wanted to go to one of these branches of humanitarian organization, to a local branch, and this is something that I wanted to address with you, Emmanuel. If you've had the chance to talk with someone from your local branch of SOS Children's Villages. But before we do this, I saw that Valmir wrote something on the chat that there is on topic I like to suggest for us to discuss.
I would talk instead of speaking. There's one thing that I am kind of missing in this process, which is if we as mentors could share our experiences between us regarding the process of mentoring other students in terms of programming. I had the discussion with Gabriel that joined last month, I think, and he had this feeling as well of missing this part. I imagine that others may have this feeling as well. And I think since we are growing in terms of mentors, we could benefit from each other, knowing like methods that works better than others, and basically sharing the ways we are using to mentor our students, so that we could improve the way we do it. What do you think?
Sure, definitely. I was actually going to get to this because it is an important part indeed. And there is one of the mentors who was actually asking me something similar, Rafael, who will start mentoring from January. And he also asked on the Discord server, how well the others thought would be best for him to start, and so on. So yeah, we can even discuss it now. One minute, if you have some input, something that you think might be useful for the new mentors.
Yeah, so what I have done, I have started with very basic things because my student, she had never programmed before. So we started with basic HTML and CSS. But there is one big issue that we are facing almost every week, which is her internet connection. So I think we just met 3 times online because the other times that we tried, her connection was very bad. So we were basically communicating via chat, and then I was giving her materials to study and being available for answering questions. And yeah, she's using Codecademy to study. She's quite enjoying it. But when we were able to have a meeting together, one of the things that I did was I asked her for her CV, for her resume, and we started. It was just a Word document. We started transforming her resume in a HTML page just for her to experiment with HTML. This was one of the approach that I used.
Cool. And by the way, when you are doing this coding together, are you using like a collaborative tool such as, wait, there was a good one.
Yeah, one of the times I used one that I don't remember the name right now, but was suggested by someone, maybe even you, on Discord.
Okay, Code Share, I think.
Yeah, exactly, this one.
Okay, cool. How did you find it was working with the slow internet connection?
In the only time we used her internet was quite okay.
Okay.
But
yeah,
I think the main issue is broadcasting video and audio, especially video. We usually try with cameras off because it consumes too much bandwidth.
Bandwidth, yeah. Yeah, it's true that unfortunately this is sometimes a problem.
Yeah, and one thing that maybe it's worth mentioning, the impression that I had in the beginning was that the students would be in the NGO because in the NGO they have, this is what I understood, that they would have good internet connections there. But what is happening is that she is attending the meetings from home, and I think that her home internet it's quite unstable, and we never were able to meet while she was in the NGO, where she maybe could have better internet connection.
I see, because maybe you are free on Wednesdays from what I remember, and yeah, maybe she cannot get there on Wednesdays.
Yeah, actually she may go, but we are meeting at 10 Ghana time, 9 a.m. Ghana time, 10 a.m. in here in the Netherlands. This is the time she's still at home. We tried later, but then she was busy all the time. So we decided to start earlier. It's good. It's better for me as well. And I think after that she goes to the NGO, but then she has no time basically.
Okay. I see. Okay, so Edgar, I also know that you have started relatively recently with the Ishimwe, right?
Yeah. Actually, we are going very well.
Sorry, say again, please.
I said we are going very well.
It's going very well. Is his connection better? Did you encounter these kinds of issues?
No, I think for the case of him, everything is good. We are having a very good communication. We are using video call. We are also using GitHub for source code sharing, like to track his progress. And currently, I've directed him to use Code Academy for learning JavaScript. Actually, previously, he learned Git in Code Academy. So he finished the short course of Git. Then we continued with HTML and CSS. Of course, if I can share you the screen, I could even show you what he has done.
Cool. Yeah, that would be really nice.
Wow, wonderful. So let me do that. I'm sharing my screen.
Cool.
I think it asks me for an extension.
Yeah, I think that PRN requires an extension for screen share.
Yeah, as soon as you install it, you are able to do it.
Oh, so I've installed it. Can you see my screen?
I can't.
I cannot either.
Now it seems that something's coming. Yeah, now I can see yours.
Yeah. Whoa, it's like a funhouse mirror.
But you click
Yeah, so
you click the stop sharing then.
yeah, so I'm doing it again. I don't know what's happening when I click share.
Wow.
That functionality, that model was actually created to avoid this inception.
Yeah, so I think I may do that later. Sharing seems to be a problem because when I click the button share, some weird things happen.
No. Go ahead again, and I can guide you. So
You can guide
no. No, don't click in that.
Okay, so I've clicked the share.
Now you are already sharing. So if you just move to another screen, we can see your. If you move to another tab, we can see your screen already.
Okay, so you can see my screen.
Yeah, can you guys?
Yep.
Okay, great. So let's just start in a very. I want to show you a very high-level summary because I know we don't have a lot of time. So this is a GitHub account of my student, and what I'm showing you is a source code used to build this kind of website here you are seeing. So this is the work of my student. So this is a website for national park. I usually call it safari. So for some of you who came to Africa some days for vacation, you might have an idea about safari, going to a national park, seeing different animals. So while I was teaching a certain student, I told her to build this site. So this is safari for Tanzania. So my previous student, my old student, did this job. Built this website in case of rain, for just raining, and it was nice, as you can see. So when I got to teach Ishimwe, the student Eddie gave me, so I decided to host this site in GitHub pages. You can all access it. I decided to host this site, and I told him that he should use this as a guide, just as a reference for him to build his own site. So far, this is what he has done within this is a side week. So this is what he has done so far.
Cool.
And here are source code. He had some problems in CSS. So actually, this is, for me, I find it is the best way to teach him because he gets motivated when he see things working. And when I look into his source code, I identify problems, then I come to GitHub, I open issues. So I've been teaching him on how to deal with issues. Then he comes back and work on the issues. So this is how I go with him. And the challenge for him is to make sure that this site looks as beautiful as this one, or even more beautiful than this one. When he reaches this level, then we will start learning JavaScript, because I told him we will never start JavaScript until you build a good site with HTML and CSS.
Yep.
So hopefully the next week, I'm going to start JavaScript with him. So
One
far,
question, Edgar. How long did he take to build the website that he has today? I really like
uh,
the idea, and I am trying to do something similar as well, like using
okay,
an already existing site as a guide.
okay. So actually, it took 3 weeks. I can say 2 weeks because I gave him 2 weeks. If you are teaching someone, you have to like create some deadlines, strict deadlines. So I said, you have 2 weeks. You have to come. You have to build this site. So he did it in 2 weeks. But he had problems in positioning CSS. He was using float. So I said, no, try to use the flexbox. So redo it by using flexi. So it took another week. So this is the third week.
Cool.
So
That's great.
yeah, yeah.
One
So
question. You mentioned that later or in the next you start with JavaScript.
yes.
Do you think it would be you would consider before starting with JavaScript starting with responsive design?
Yeah, actually, I was thinking about that. But what I wanted to do is uh, when I start JavaScript with him, it doesn't mean we will stop doing other things. We do responsive design. uh, I can see that we can do both of them. For him, we won't notice the difference if I say, okay, now we start responsive design, because I'm looking at the mood of the student. He really likes JavaScript. He wants to jump there. I'm trying to stop him. So if I keep him working on HTML and CSS for a long time,
I
he
see. I
will
see.
start, yeah, he will lose motivation. So
Yeah.
we can start a little JavaScript, but focus more on CSS and responsive design too. We must do that.
Yeah. Really good job. Really inspiring, man.
Oh, thank you. Actually, I'm trying.
Yeah, no,
So
it's
that's
really, I
all.
totally agree. Sorry, Edgar, you were saying?
That's all I wanted to share with you. So maybe if there are more questions.
So I have a question. Um, are you following any specific curriculums like Code Academy or like Walmir also said about his student, or Free Code Camp or W3 Schools? Is Ishimwe also doing this?
Honestly, I can say no. When I heard you talking about someone who learned some like, there's someone who said who learned about like the relaxation method and things like that. I really want to learn how to teach someone following certain guidelines. So I'm not following any of the guidelines, but what I do is I'm taking him to the path I took when I started learning programming 3 years ago, 4 years ago. So this is how I started.
Sure, no, this is great. You are making amazing progress. Like in 3 weeks, if he was already able to build this is really amazing. But it was just a curiosity because the advantage in with going through one of these established curriculums is simply the fact that you can just have the student look. Until the next session, you can go through the exercises or sections from here up to here and do as much as you can, and anything that you might not understand, we can talk about it, we can clarify it on the next session. So yeah, this can also be helpful, but well, just going in this way that you've presented is really great as well.
Yeah, but I think Edgar mentioned that his student is using Code Academy, right?
Yeah, he's using Code Academy, but I point specific codes for him. For instance,
All right. All right.
initially when we started, I told him just you need to have a GitHub account. So he said, "What's GitHub?" I just give him a summary of what is GitHub, but I said, "No, go to Code Academy and learn Git. Do this course." So he went,
Okay.
he finished the course, and he came back. I said, "What did you learn?" He explained to me, and I said, "Okay, open a GitHub account and put your source code there." So he did it himself.
Yeah, just to add to
Cool.
that, what you just suggested, Ed, is something that I do with my student. Like after our calls, I suggest her some courses. Like she's in, I think now she has already ended the HTML course from Code Academy, and
Ah,
now
nice.
I would suggest like the next one. And this is the way we are working. Like apart from the meeting that we have weekly, she's also studying on her free time.
Cool. That's awesome. And I also think that the students going through W3 Schools materials can also be very useful, because the theory of HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and so on is explained in more detail there. And this can also be helpful. And whatever other tutorials they find, YouTube, blog posts, things like that. It's always best for the students to do as much research as they can to get used to doing this. Cool. But thanks, Edgar. Thank you very much. It's really great to see this kind of progress. This is really nice, very inspiring indeed.
Thank you. You're
cool.
So,
okay.
And how old is he?
So sorry, Kawe?
How old is the student?
The student you mean Shinwei, I think, right?
Yeah.
Is that question directed to me?
Yeah.
I think he's 21.
21?
Yeah, 21 or 20. I think 21.
That's very nice. It's very inspiring. That line,
Okay.
it's amazing.
Okay, thank you.
Cool. Okay, so well, if you, Walmi or Edgar, want to add anything else about your experience with your students?
Come again?
If you want to add something else about your experience so far with your students, well, I'm referring to you, Edgar, and Walmir, because I know that Kawe, well, is currently has started teaching your wife, right? Kawe, you said recently, and then Dario will start soon with Emmanuel, and I don't remember who else was the other guest because I only see guest. But yeah, this is why I was referring mostly to you, Edgar, and Walmir.
Yeah, on my side, apart from what I have already mentioned, I also do what you mentioned of like referencing to W3C documents when in doubt about a specific, like I don't know how this CSS property works or how this HTML tag works or something like that. I'm also going through the official documentation, but I will surely improve in the way that Edgar mentioned regarding teaching her Git, because we are not using any version control system yet. I thought she was not prepared yet, but I think it's a good way to keep track of things, and then it's easier for me to review her code and to basically be able to communicate with her synchronously. So I will for sure do it as well next time.
Cool.
And by the way, I noticed you mentioned that Kawe is starting to teach his wife programming. I have done that as well with mine. She already knows JavaScript, very basic, but she was able to go through a Codecademy course of JavaScript, not until the end, but she finished HTML and CSS, and now I'm challenging her to start learning Python.
So, who is the lead teacher? Sorry, who started the idea between you and her?
I don't remember exactly. Probably me, because I'm kind of a nerd. But she works with marketing, and in the company she works, there is this interesting team that is called. It's a mix of marketing and IT. I don't remember the name of the team, but it's like people from marketing area that works with technology. So I'm trying to encourage her to go through deep knowledge on technology, so she can work in this because she really likes digital marketing and things like that.
It has a big incentive there on the company, I see.
Oh
Because
yeah.
that's where I'm having the biggest trouble, you know. It was actually her will to start, but it's really hard to keep up, you know. And I'm not sure if it's mostly my fault or whatever, but it's you know, there is no rhythm. It's being forever that she says that she wants. We kind of started in the beginning of December, and then since then it was 3 or 4 times that she ever done anything, you know. And I'm not sure if I should push her because, you know, if I programming is a lot of effort. It requires a lot of effort, and it's not just 1 hour per week that will accomplish anyone anything. So there has to be a drive somewhere, and I have no idea.
Yeah, I would say that maybe like the person willing to learn needs to create a kind of pace, what my wife does. She's not studying programming right now, but when she does, I usually use Pomodoro technique, like do 2 Pomodoros per day, and then you can see the progress and things like that, which is something that I just realized that I should be using with my mentor as well.
Yeah, she loves more.
We've already discussed this, but you know what my recommendation would be. Thing is that you know, if the student's mind isn't you know, a lot of the time in the direction of some clear goal, then it will be quite hard for the body to be in that direction. So yeah, you know, for me the solution is quite simple: to just practice this mental process of thinking about a specific goal, you know, end goal, and the steps to get there, and do this again and again regularly. And yeah, this is how ideas will come, this is how energy will come, confidence also. So
Yeah, but even then, I also try that, but it's the same thing. You know, it looks like there's not enough drive in her, even if she says there is, even if she does act at some points, even for setting the goals and for anything like that. You know, it's something holding back, and all I can do from my end, all I think I can do from my end is just wait. But you know, I don't know if there's anything else that I can try to do. You know.
Yeah, so well, it all starts with the goal always. And you know, for those who want to land their first job as programmers, the goal is quite easy to set, because and the motivation is different to set this goal. But you know, if she already has another job, another type of job, it's maybe not so motivating to think of a clear specific goal related to programming. So yeah, for this it might take some time, but in my opinion, until she does something like this, you know, thinking of a clear goal and thinking of the steps to get there, it will be really hard to move in that direction, really hard.
Yeah, I really liked, if I can interrupt, the Edgar's idea of like with that time he told his student, you have 2 weeks to build this site. Then you have kind of a pressure, but it's like a friendly pressure. And then, but at the point that you reach this, then you feel proud that you've done that, and then you may be willing to learn more, right? So this is really nice, I think.
I'm thinking about trying that now because she just finished her master's, and there was a lot of pressure, and I think that has a lot to do with it.
Yeah, actually, I'm trying to listening to my friend here. I think actually your situation is difficult somehow, but from my experience, because I have quite an experience. I'm young, but I have an experience in teaching. I'm not a nerd. but I've been teaching for a long time. I think when I was at university in my first year, I started a class and I was teaching my friends, and 5 of them now have a very good job, and one of them, she's a lady. I'm working with her at the World Bank. So during this time, I've been learning why people do things and why they don't. So if something is attached to someone's life or career, for instance, on myself, programming is based on the family I come from. If I didn't do programming, then I could not help my family. So programming was the only way for me. So that was enough drive for me to do coding. I found the same thing in my students, the one I'm mentoring. So what he wants to land to a job. So that is what he is thinking. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to create a path that builds reality in his mind that after some time I will be able to land to a very good job with this progress I'm making. So I was telling him, if you are only able to make a website, that is, you can get a job. There are so many companies who just need a website so that they can advertise their product. So don't worry, you don't need to know about servers, about PHP. You just need to know HTML and CSS. It is enough for you to get a job. I know he needs to learn more, but that is enough motivation for him to do better. But when he reaches there, I tell him, yeah, you're good. But if you can add JavaScript here, then you can be able to do React, you can do Angular, and you can become a front-end developer. So you won't need to sit and wait for your uncle's company or your friend's hotel to build a website. You can even get hired by a big company, even get a remote job. You see, so when he gets there, I tell him, okay, but you can do full stack, you can learn PHP. So what I find is if you attach this teaching with someone's career life, with someone's life, if someone is a goal which aligns with his or her life, it's very easy to teach. So if you have a student, maybe try to focus on how computer programming relates to her life. Then if you get that point, focus on it. So for you, you said your student is studying masters or she has graduated from masters. Maybe you need to find a way how useful programming is to her life. If it is not, that will be very hard. But if at some point in her life programming can change her life, that was my comment. Thank you.
Yeah, I agree with all that. And there are two aspects of learning programming. I would say not only for her but for everyone. And one is just basic programming. Just basic computer logic, how computer works, and that's something that should be taught. In first thing in all schools all over the world. That doesn't turn anyone into a programmer, but still, at least you you comprehend a little better how technology, how computers work. And I know that for sure, at least that she would like to know, like everyone else. And then there is what you say about programming as a lifestyle or as a career. And even that, in this case, I know that does, she can use in her career, and she knows that as well. But it's a lot about of how to actually get there. So setting deadlines, small stepstones, that's important, and I think it's still to be done. But I feel like the idea of setting deadlines and putting a little bit of pressure, and then making the step by step together, it's also important. It's something that I might be missing. So I'm gonna definitely try that. And thank you so much again, Edgar. It's been quite inspiring.
Yeah, I would say the
Yeah,
same. I am so happy to have met you, Edgar. You were the guy to inspire us.
same
Both
here.
Ed.
Actually, I'm more happy than all of you.
I don't know what else we will talk here at Edmond, but there's one thing that I forgot to mention that I would like to talk. One of the things that I do as a person that is basically passionate by technology is that I run some online courses. I started learning things related to software testing in Portuguese in an online school that I have. But last year created my first online course on Udemy in English. And I would love to send coupons for you guys to subscribe for free if you want. It's Introduction to Test Automation. It's just theoretical course with 5 or 6 lessons. It's around 1 hour and a half course. But I would love to give inputs from you, because this year I intend to translate some other of my courses that I have in Portuguese to English, so that I can put them on Udemy. And this is something that I have already provided to my student, a coupon for her to subscribe. It's just another thing that she can, because we have talked about it, Edmond, that most of the guys here, they work with back end or front end, but I am more specialized in quality assurance. And it's good for if we can let our students know that there are other paths that they can go through to work in technology as well. So yeah, let me know if you want, then I can create some coupons on Udemy and send to you, or I will just create like a 10 or 20 and share the link on Discord. Then you can subscribe, and then you can rank the course and things like that and give me feedback.
Sure, that would be great. Cool. Okay, so one other thing that we could talk about is related to something that Kawe was mentioning regarding, for example, how to make announcements in the most efficient way. And Kawe, you are suggesting using the forum, where, well, the forum isn't very used so far. Hopefully we will use it more. I am personally not very used to using forums, but yeah, in order to discuss various topics and for them to actually stay there, the forum would be the best choice. But for the announcements, well, we would have to think exactly how this could work, because in order to get email notifications for announcements such as the one for today, for today's meeting, well, I think everyone would have to actually be to have subscribed to the forum with their email address, and this might take some time. So I don't know.
There are 2 things that we can do. I suggested using the forums because it's easier for us, as administrators of that. But ideally, we will use the blog and just grab all emails and add to a mailing list, and then fire whenever a blog post comes up on their announcements. That's basically what you're doing right now with emails, but using a tool made for that. For using the forums, if everyone else, or maybe at least most people, would agree, it would basically be the same thing. It would only require that everyone signs up on the forums, but that's the same as signing up for announcements. That's basically the same stuff, except you can choose how you get notified. So the biggest difference between a blog subscribing and subscribing to the forums is that you can subscribe per topic. It's easier for that. So I'm not even sure if the forum is the ideal way to go, but technically it's much better.
Yeah, I think, in my opinion, it's more a matter of creating the habit of starting using it. I haven't started using it, to be honest, so I will try to engage, going there and reading the topics that we already have, and start trying to contribute, because as soon as we start using it, we can start encouraging others to do the same, and we can. I would say that we should just lead by example, and spread the word.
Cool. For the announcements, though, well, because everyone would have to subscribe. Probably at the moment, Discord would still be the main way to go. At least for announcements such as the one that I was mentioning, right? For the monthly meeting. So until mostly everyone is on the forum, is subscribed to the forum, I think this is still the best way to go.
I don't think that how it happens, man. You make one announcement. This is the new place. You either go there or not if you want new announcements.
I don't know. I don't know about this, and I'll tell you why. Because going on Discord is as easy as clicking on a link, right? Being on the forum, you need a subscription, and everyone hates subscribing with their actually creating accounts. So this might take some time for people to get used to doing. Sorry.
I disagree. To click on a link in Discord to work, you had to be subscribed to Discord first.
No.
Why a lot of people are not there?
No. You can just click on the invite and you put in your name, and that's it.
Well, you still have to put in your email if you want to get notified, or you have to install the application. It's not magic.
If you want to get notified?
Yeah.
I actually don't remember this.
There's nothing magical about Discord,
Okay, so well, in this case, it would be registering on Discord and then registering again on the forum.
No. You don't need Discord for the forum. You don't need the forum for Discord. They're completely independent.
No, wait. So to the new programmers, I will first and foremost send the Discord link because Discord is a live chat, whereas the forum isn't a live chat, and I think the live chat gives the impression of more livelihood. So something is happening even right now.
Not when, like in December, it's all dead.
To be honest, I don't think this is a problem. I mean,
yeah,
we are already using the notifications on Discord. It just works, and if we manage to start creating the habit of having everyone subscribed in the forum, at some point we may move the notifications from one place to the other. But let's not stress on this, because it's not a big deal, right, guys?
Oh, come on, it's good to stress a little bit sometimes.
Well, I actually tend to agree with Walmir. Forum is indeed good, but I definitely wouldn't replace entirely Discord with the forum. So I do think we need the live chat, and we'll need it more and more as we.
I never meant to replace as well.
Sorry?
I never meant to replace as well.
Oh, okay. Cool. So, well, for now, okay, I think we can end it here, actually. Well, I don't know if there is already an announcement. There is actually an announcements channel. So we could have this channel for now until we see that pretty much everyone is also on the forum, and then like Walmir said, we could decide or not to move the announcements there afterwards.
I don't think it has to be one place or another. Well, no. Ideally, it will be both.
Yeah, or both. Sure. This can also be a good way. Cool. Okay. If there's something else that you wanted to discuss, guys.
Not really. I'm pretty happy with today's meeting, actually. I think, well, if I could say something, my suggestion would be that in these monthly meetings, we do more of what Edgar did, because this is, in my opinion, what brings more value for us as mentors. So, very good job, Edgar. But I encourage and I will lead by example. I'll try to do it as well with the progress that my student is doing. So, yeah, I think this is one of the best outcomes, in my opinion, for this meeting. And of course, I like knowing like all the updates on your side, Edmond.
Yeah, and I actually wanted to mention something here. So going forward, because we will do this, we will go with this local approach, and this is something that I'm telling to all the programmers that I'm talking with, that even if some people in these local branches of these humanitarian organizations aren't necessarily interested in programming, we still shouldn't leave them behind. So we can still help them become more efficient in school, get better results in school, or in certain subjects where they are having problems with, and whatever other field they choose, to become more passionate, more perseverant, more driven, and so on. Well, for this, it will probably be, because this is kind of being the new strategy. It kind of strays away from the old one, which was for the programmers to strictly teach programming remotely. So what we might do would be probably to have like two separate meetings, one for the current remote mentors, to discuss things like you said, Walmir, similar to what you and Edgar were talking about today. And another one which would be more general, for this new strategy, where we address, and I'll give you an example of things that I would like I would also like to talk about with the new mentors. For example, in a local branch of SOS Children's Villages, where I'm going here, I'm helping two students from there to, one of them get higher grades in maths, and another one to become more efficient in learning English. And for example, for the one that wants to learn English more efficiently, she was struggling a lot until now. She always had the feeling that she couldn't, she just couldn't memorize words, and she couldn't understand and stuff like that. So yeah, she was getting very frustrated because of this. And I asked her, would you like to be more efficient? Would you like to be able to learn English better and with more joy and so on? She said yes. So I just told her that, look, all you have to do is to think about the moment in the future when you will look at whatever YouTube video and you will read whatever text in English, and you will be able to understand them, and then think about the steps to get there. And yeah, she did this for a while, and she came up with the idea of looking at sequences of movies on YouTube, first with subtitles and then without subtitles. And yeah, this is how she can make the connection without looking at the subtitles to learn English. And these are the kinds of ideas that I would like going forward for our students to come up with, whether they related to programming or not. But I can also understand that for the mentors who are doing this mentoring remotely strictly for programming, this might not be of tremendous interest. So we might separate maybe these meetings. We'll see exactly. Maybe one meeting won't even be enough for all the new mentors who will go with this new strategy, because there will be more and more. And we won't be able to organize these huge calls. So I have to think about the solution. But yeah, I agree with you, Walmir, that for the remote mentoring, what was discussed today would be ideal.
Yeah, I really liked your idea as well regarding the just motivating people on achieving any goals that they have, and this example was pretty good.
Cool. So yeah, on these calls from the remote mentors, those who would be interested in participating can do so freely. But yeah, if they're not particularly interested, we might have a separate meeting for the kinds of calls that we had today. Cool. And by the way, well, now that we also have Emmanuel, and Emmanuel, you were saying that your intention was to go to your local branch of SOS Children's Villages. It was just this that I wanted to ask you now that we're on this call, if you had the chance to visit them. Emmanuel, can you hear me?
Yeah. You have to unmute yourself, Manuel.
Yeah. I don't know if you're trying to speak, but your microphone is muted.
There you go.
Emmanuel?
It's still not me.
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah,
I see a black image, but I can hear you. So yeah, my question was this: if you had the chance to go to a local branch of SOS Children's Villages, like we discussed towards the end of December.
Yeah, I was able to go there, and we discussed a lot of things. But the only problem is distance. It's too far from where I stay.
Ah, okay.
But
sure, go
but
ahead.
so far I'm teaching some children's home. Yeah, I'm teaching some kids relaxation methods because they really don't programming.
They don't. Sorry, there was a break of there. If you could repeat.
He said they don't do programming yet, so he's more teaching the relaxation method, as I understood.
Ah, okay, cool.
Yeah, they're just primary students.
Sure. Yeah, definitely. Maybe this isn't the time yet for them to learn programming, but the relaxation method and this focus, this mental exercise can help them in school. Cool. Okay. Thank you. Okay. So, guys, if you want to discuss anything else.
I am just fine, but if the other guys want to discuss something, just let me know before we end. Then I can stop the recording, and I will upload the recording to Google Drive. Or do we use any other specific service for that? Because
yeah, use YouTube on Mentor's account.
yeah, I will just upload it there and then send the link.
Cool.
Yeah, thank you. On my side, I have one thing to add or to ask if it is possible. I'm not sure if everyone is using GitHub, but in case we are teaching them to write programs, I suggest that we have like our own GitHub organization or something like that, where students can put what they do there. Maybe it could be a motivation amongst themselves too.
We do actually. We have a GitHub account, and here I have to apologize for not having added you. I've been talking with a lot of programmers lately, and it's becoming harder and harder to add manually each one to our GitHub account. But yeah, I'll put from time to time on Discord. I will mention this, that if someone else wants to join our GitHub account, then I can add them there. So yeah, if you can send me, please, Edgar, your GitHub user, I will add you to our account.
Yeah, but I think Edgar's idea is different, right? It's a GitHub account for the students to share code with each other, not for the mentors, right?
Actually, for what they do, it's like same thing you have said. For for instance, in case of my student, he could put his source code on the students organization. Maybe your student too could put the source code there. So there could be like some kind of activity you
Yeah,
see that.
I think we could even in
Yeah.
the future think about like small projects where students would work together and contribute in the same project. That would be
That would be
a very
amazing.
nice idea.
Yeah, so this would probably fit best in our organizational account, right, that we have right now. This, you know, it would make no sense creating another one.
Yeah.
I would
I agree.
suggest
The only point is
to
not just
students.
for mentors, but also for students, right?
I would suggest that students could actually work on the website. You know?
Yes, but I would say that it would be best to do this at a later stage. You know, we should get something going, and we will at some point. But yeah, then they can make they can add things, and because they need to be code reviewed properly. Sorry.
Not directly, just as pull requests, like GitHub is meant to work.
Yes, but still, you know, having pull requests on something that isn't well enough structured yet wouldn't make a lot of sense. So if they are to add, like, you know, texts and the images and stuff like that, this is one thing. But having to you know, put files in places which we aren't sure yet, and you know, the not having a clear structure yet. Will be more difficult to code review even the pull request. But yeah, this is definitely a good way for the student, a good thing for the students to do, and a great way for them to learn going forward. But yeah, starting in the way that Edgar and Walmir mentioned would still be best, because they need to, until they get to contribute to website like well, something that will go into production, they need to get used to working on something smaller. Cool.
Got a new guest.
Sorry, yeah, it's Yerney. He's in the office, and yeah, I saw that he sometimes turned his camera on and off. Yerney, if you wanted to add something, or if you can. Actually, you wrote something. I have to go. I have a meeting in a few minutes. Okay, cool. Thanks, Yerney. So Edgar, thank you for your username on GitHub. I will add it there to our account, to the organization account. And yes, if there isn't anything else that you guys would like to discuss or to add, I think we can wrap it up.
Okay, I will end recording here, or would someone say something before?
Yeah, I had a question and a concern. Yeah, whether we can like create a the content for Mentors Without Borders, that a student can be doing their research in case they are stuck during their programming course.
So for this, Emmanuel, you will have these weekly sessions with the mentor, and you know, this is what you will rely on primarily for you know, the things things that you won't understand immediately, or you know, won't be very clear. You can clarify them during these weekly sessions with the mentor. But as we progress, you know, this is the intention, to keep adding useful resources on our website, on our GitHub account. So yeah, you know, this will come in time. But for now, you know, your primary way of getting unstuck, wherever you get stuck, will be to ask your mentor, who will be Dario, and you can ask him on these weekly sessions.
One thing that I think it's maybe worth mentioning that I forgot to mention as well is regarding our Medium account, the Mentors Without Borders on Medium. So we already have it, and my suggestion would be that we as mentors start creating content you don't need to be an editor on the Mentors Without Borders Medium account to be able to publish something there. So I encourage you to create content and ask for publishing something there. Then we editors will review the content, give you feedback, make all the adjustments that needs to be adjusted, and then we can approve, and then we will start having more content there. So yeah, that was my final word.
Yeah, that would be great. And by the way, Edgar, the kind of progress that you've presented would fit really well at some point on the blog. Whenever you will feel comfortable. I don't know how comfortable you are in general writing stuff, because I, for one, I'm not a writer. Whenever I'm forced to do it, I do it. But it would be great, for us to get into this habit. Like when we said, he's an experienced blogger, and he's used to doing this. But for us programmers, I think in general, it's not something that comes naturally. But it would be really great indeed to have more and more content there, because this will encourage the new mentors it will help them see what is actually happening, which is good, and which they can be inspired by.
Yeah, I think I'm very lucky here. I will try to do that, and thanks to Wami for this opportunity. I will try to write something slowly. I've never written a blog. I will try for the first time. Maybe look at it. Once it is nice, then maybe it can go for the public. I will try, but I start.
The only thing you need is a Medium account, and if you have a Medium account, then you can just publish to someone else. And it doesn't need to be perfect, because then we can review the content before it's published, so we can help each other on having it in a good state for publishing it.
Yeah, and also it doesn't have to be something fancy. It's like specific things that are happening in your mentoring process, presented in a clear enough manner, and this should be enough. It doesn't have to be like Shakespearean style or whatever. Nothing of this kind. So just the facts, right? So this should be more than enough. And usually, if you write a very long blog post, chances are that people won't read it anyway. And the shorter it is, it might be the best, actually, with clear enough explanations. But yeah. Cool. Yeah, thanks, Wamir, for mentioning this. It's as we grow, this will probably be, the best thing that we can do to actually blog about our experiences, because otherwise they just stay, on these monthly meetings, or in our heads and in our lives only. And this stuff is best shared.
Yeah, I'll challenge myself on trying to write something this weekend.
Cool.
People would say that everyone in life should write a book, plant a tree, and raise a child, right?
So, even if it's not a...
I wrote a book already, and I don't want to have a child, so I will write another one.
Cool, but even if it's not a book, even if it's only a blog post, it's still great.
Yeah, you know what? You know what? I started as a blogger in 2014, and in 2016 I had enough blog posts to create a book. This was my inspiration to create the book that I have, which is about a testing framework. And so it's much better to start small, and then when you reach a point where you have so much content, then you can turn the content into a book. So yeah, highly suggested.
Or just leave it as a big blog.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Cool. Okay, guys. So I think we can wrap it up here then.
All right, we'll stop recording then.